No, I want to go.
These are tough questions.
No, I'm being interrogated again, and I don't want to do this anymore. Yes, I am.
Candace Wells has been accused of having something to do with her daughter Summer's disappearance. She has been criticized by a lot of people on the internet, including myself. After all, according to Candace, Summer was in her care on the day that she disappeared. So naturally, people tend to lean more towards Candace being responsible than Dawn. But lately I've been doing a lot of thinking about Dawn and Candace and the things that they've said and done. And I'm beginning to wonder whether blame and suspicion are being put on Candace purposely by her own husband. Now, please don't come for me as if I feel sorry for Candace or I have sympathy for Candace, because I can assure you I do not. If they had something to do with Summer's disappearance, I truly have no sympathy for either one of them. Honestly, all I'm really trying to say is that it's possible, and there's a chance that Don threw Candace under the bus in order to save himself.
And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever. Nobody would ever treat her like that. Nobody would ever treat her like that. Nobody would ever treat her like that. Treat her like that. Treat her like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. As long as I was around. As long as I was around. Ever. 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 Ever.
Even though Candace clearly has a lot of issues, and she's also said some very questionable things.
Summer and the boys are the love of my life. I would never trade anything for them. Summer and the boys are the love of my life. I would never trade anything for them. I can't do anything but love them. I mean, everybody's expecting me to no, I'm not having a drink on my dinner. Oh, hell no. I won't drink again. Because them boys and my Summer is the love of my life. I will never drink or do anything against them ever again. I love y'all, and I have a best friend that she's just so great, and I love her so much.
No, I want out, and I want to go home.
During this interview by the behavior panel, it was said that Don studied how to act in order to fool these people. He literally asked a YouTuber what signs they would look for. I think Don is a better liar than Candace. He's been lying his entire life, and I think he's just confident in his lies. And when you believe your own lies, it's easier to convince other people to believe your lies as well.
Interesting piece is contrast their body language. Don looks oblivious to all of this. He's trusting us and paying attention to us. She's not. It's an interesting. So she starts, even before she flees the scene, by doing something that we refer to as the trancer in our true crime workshop, and that's making herself unavailable, whether it's doing this or emotional or something to escape.
Yeah, and at this point, she's down in her chin.
You ask them a question and they feel they're being threatened, you'll see that chin drop. It protects the neck. It's something that happens from your limbic system, psychological thing that happens.
They get very emotional. They lock up. Their throat is protected by putting their chin down over their throat. And then typically in pre-confession, their body will open up, and that's when you close. That's when you go after them.
Yeah.
We wonder.
I wonder if these guys have any experience analyzing children's behavior, because I would imagine that that would look a lot different than analyzing an adult. Because we have heard from several people who know Candace, who became friends with Candace, and they all describe Candace as having the mentality of a child.
Wednesday, June 15th, 2022. Summer is all over the news. Today will be tough.
Cathy the Friend, who Candace lived with while Dawn was in jail, gave us a little bit of insight into who Candace is and her level of mentality.
Oh, I actually took her to her psychiatric evaluation when they first ordered it, and it was in Knoxville. And at that time, she really hadn't driven on the interstate. You know, she hadn't driven very far, so she was really nervous. So I went with her, and really, she didn't even know how to work her GPS. So we get to the doctor's office. I sit down in the chair, and the first thing that she does is sit down on the floor and grabs the Legos and starts playing with Legos. When the doctor came from the back, she opened the door, and she looked at me and she said, "Candace." And I turned and looked at Candace, and I could see shock actually in the doctor's face, because she, I think was looking at me to be Candace, sitting in a chair, waiting to be seen, and then she looks over there and Candace is sitting on the floor, playing with Legos. Yeah. Like a child, yes. Do I feel the Lego thing was legit or a ploy to seem off? Okay, no, it wasn't a ploy. That's who she is. That's who she is. That's the level she's on. And, she has never ordered anything offline. She's never written a check. That's why I had to fill out all the papers for her, because she don't know how to do any of that. And that's probably one reason, she don't want to step away from Don, because, he handles it all for her. No matter what it is, he handles it all. No, she doesn't know how to live without him.
Ask if someone there's a door to her room downstairs. It's a basement room, but there's an outside door.
Correct.
You asked, could you hear if someone had opened that door?
She said, yes, you can clearly.
There was a tiny squeak to the door, and that was it. That was all. You couldn't.
Someone who has been abused their entire life, who has been through a lot of trauma, is mentally and emotionally stunted. How hard would it be to confuse or manipulate someone on that level? Someone who has the mentality of a child. I want to read a community post from a channel called Question in Crime. She had shared a picture of Candace, and she says, "This video picture from right when Summer disappeared always bothered me when I seen Candace. She looks like she had been crying her eyes out, and Don doesn't look upset at all. Never has. I only seen him cry when he got his DUI and had to go to jail. Hear me out. I have no idea who's responsible for Summer's disappearance. My suspicions have always been Don Wells, and I have always felt she's covering for him and has for years. And I think whatever money she gets, Don takes to spend. I think he controls Candace and is abusive to her, and there are receipts for that. I seen all these people on the bandwagon to point the finger at her when it's the one sitting next to her, in my opinion. She has many faults and has not been a good parent, so she's not innocent by any means. But he, on the other hand, has had a worse history, and my suspicions are always on him." So I agree with her, and I commented to share this. I've always thought the same. I honestly wonder if Don called Candace on June 15th to see when they'd be home, so he could sneak up there to get Summer without Candace knowing. I think she knows what he did, but doesn't want to lose him because he's all she has left. I think Don Wells may just be the type of sick, abusive man that would purposely put suspicion on Candace in order to save himself. I think all of the crying that Candace does might be because deep down she knows what he did, and she feels guilty for staying with him and not turning him into law enforcement. Candace, you're better off without him. You'll never have any peace until you do the right thing.
The most important thing is to bring Summer home, safe. I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without, thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby. And
If you go back and watch this interview, Candace gives Dawn a lot of strange looks. There's a cut, and the interviewer asks them about the red truck, and watch Candace's reaction.
whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. I don't know, it seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, when you're young. And she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church. I run the lawnmower around. She would run behind me. She loved to run. She just loved to run. I don't know how you might do that. You're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back. And just please have mercy on her, and and us, and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. That she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, because it's so easy to get, lost in that negativity and stuff. I knew right away that she was abducted. I knew right away that she was abducted. I knew that right away, and that's what I told him from the beginning. Just thankful for the persons that's doing that. I love trying to get information and trying to get her found. And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back.
We called Social Security. We got the papers sent here. We got them all filled out. Sent them back to Social Security. She has no work credits, none. She hasn't worked, and I still have those papers, by the way. So if anybody needs to see them, I got them. Because she didn't take anything of importance like that with her. Just like the HUD applications and so forth. We had to buy her groceries. She was barely getting her her cigarettes, and when she started out drinking, she was barely able to get her alcohol. Because Candace is truly like my little sister, and I hate that she's going through this. I really do. But first of all, she didn't want to be alone on the hill, and she was scared to be alone on the hill. And I think she knew if she came here, first of all, she wouldn't be alone, and she knew, she would have somebody to help her with whatever. She knew she wasn't going to go hungry because, we always fed her. Right, she probably can't take care of herself because she's never had to. Have I ever seen her lose her temper? No. She is the most. Honestly, I would lose mine before she lost hers. She was very passive. She blew a bunch of. She just blew it off. Very little bothered her. So as far as her, nope, she never got angry. Now, she would get a little mouthy when she was drunk, but as far as losing her temper and going off the rails, nope. It was all just passive and like the hell with everything. It just didn't bother her. We would get, it just didn't bother her. Things didn't bother her. Didn't ask for help, for her to help clean. When I washed her laundry, she would get her laundry. But as far as like cleaning, I want to do it my way. I know it's clean if I do it, that kind of thing. So since she's done with him, she wants to move on. And then every time he calls, he convinces her, give me another try. I'm so sorry. And I'll change. I promise. I'm going to change this time. I promise. You'll see. That type thing. So yes, he called her every day. I wish her the best. I absolutely wish her the best. But she can't. I don't know why. But there's some kind of hold there. Massive cry for help, but so sad she can't accept it. Yeah. But none of you know, sorry. None of you know the things that she has had to deal with. Not just, with Summer. The boys. And I'm not going to talk a lot about the boys either. And then her animals. And then her husband. If that's, anyway. And my child. I am gonna discuss that real quick, because everybody's saying, "Oh my God, how can you have your child around her?" Why would I not? What has she been convicted? Does she have a record other than going to jail? Whatever she went to jail, has she been convicted of something as far as children go? Has she been not supposed to be around children? I wasn't told she wasn't supposed to be around children, and let me tell you, she's damn good with mine, and mine loves her. That's her aunt. And if none of you can understand that, if you can't understand that she is human, and she has a heart, and none of you know her, you don't know her. You don't know her the way that we know her. And if I say she's a good person, all you're going to be like, yeah, how can she be a good person? Because I know her and you don't. She has flaws just like the rest of us. And I don't agree with a lot of the things that she has said, a lot of the things that she has done, but it's not going to change the fact that she's still a human being and she has a missing child. I know that she was trying. I haven't spoke to her in a little bit, and I'll get into all that as well, but just please don't jump the gun and think that everything that is said and done is in a nefarious or evil way.
I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without, thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can, and still is.